Look at my hair, guys. Looks like shit. What happened? The money in on the flop. So I just finished my 3.5-hour session playing Rush and Cash on GGPoker. And if you look into the graph, guys, things are working out really well at the moment. Looking back over the last 30 days or so, I'm winning over 12 big blinds in EV per 100, winning over a little bit over $2,500 at the moment, and overall feeling really well about my game. How's it going, guys? Hope you're all doing well and that you are as excited as myself about this vlog's episode, because today it's all about moving up in stakes. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been doing really well playing PLO 100 on the Rush and Cash tables on GGPoker, and I'm about to jump into my first PLO 200 session on GGPoker actually. So I'm very excited, focused, energized, and I'm about to jump into the games. More about moving up in stakes and reviewing hands from my PLO 200 session later. But now let's get straight into it and see how the games are on a Saturday evening. Currently up, guys, on the left table, almost 3 buy-ins, and on the right table I am up close to 1 buy-in. Playing now for about an hour and a half. Things go well. Happy with the session so far. Yeah, let's keep going, see what comes out of it. Guys, that's it for this session. 3 hours in the books, 1,000 hands, and winning, looking into the graph there, $1,000, playing 1-2 on GGPoker. Very happy with the result, of course, and also with the way I played. I do think I played a little bit tighter in general, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem. But let's look into some hands, guys, to see what happened throughout the session. Let's look into this hand where I 3-bet against under the gun. I have a beautiful unpaired double suited ace high hand. I make it $24 on the button, and the under the gun player will go ahead and call against my 3-bet. Beautiful flop, top 2 pair and a flush draw and a backdoor nut flush draw. I think we should definitely bet here. We definitely have a large checking range on the board like this, but at the same time this hand has so many things going on that I like betting way more than checking. I go at bet half pot, which is the sizing I would always use. The money goes in. My opponent did flop a straight, but we're actually a favorite on the flop with our flush draw, top 2 pair, backdoor nut flush draw. We turn a flush and we take down a nice pot. The following hand, I'm not sure whether I think I played it correct or not. I didn't feel that great afterwards. I flat call pre-flop, we go 3-way, and the flop is 10-10-7. I like betting at this point, trying to get some value from overpairs, from flush draws. We have a lot of backup and our hand plays very good on turns and rivers, so let's build a pot. The button decides to call, and on the turn things become interesting. Like I make a straight, but I don't improve to a boat. My opponent can easily have 7-7, Jack-10, sometimes even Jack-Jack. We could bet and try to get value from 10x, but at the same time, I mean, he also can have hearts, of course. I don't know. I decided to check. And when I face a very large bet, things become quite uncomfortable in a sense. He's basically wrapping Jack-10, 10-7. I don't think he would bet 10x really that often for this sizing on this turn. So I decided to just call. And I don't know, it feels a bit awkward in a sense. Maybe I should have just got the money in on the turn by check raising. So I check call, river is the ace. I obviously go ahead and check. My opponent checks as well, and I end up losing against the river flush. So on the turn I did have the best hand. Shot taking for me is all about the right bankroll management. And for me that means I have to know how much money am I willing to risk before moving up in stakes? The most important thing, in my opinion, to keep in mind when moving up is that the most likely outcome is that it's going to fail. You will not make it the first time you're gonna try it. You probably have to move down. So understanding when to move down is extremely important when shot taking in poker. And for me, that means that I'm going to risk 12 buy-ins when moving up to PLO 200. I'm gonna invest $2,500 when trying PLO 200 out. And in case I'm losing that amount, I'm gonna get back down to PLO 100 and grind my way back up in order to try it again. Now, of course, it's also important to know that you can actually beat the stake that you're coming from. In my situation, I've been doing really well playing PLO 100 recently, and therefore now I'm convinced that I'm beating that stake and it's time to try the next level. I decided to open raise King Queen 8-7 from under the gun. Now this is very marginal actually. In theory, it's almost breaking even, and in reality, looking at the players at the table, I don't think it's that great of a hand to open because I don't have that much fold equity pre-flop, looking at the VPIPs. Therefore, I like folding a little bit more, but I do end up raising. I face a 3-bet and I have a straightforward call. This hand class, unpaired double suited hands, is almost never folding versus a 3-bet. So I do make the call, flop top to pair. I go ahead and check. My opponent bets quite large and I do like raising at this point. I almost always have the best hand, but my hand doesn't really play that great on turns and rivers, so I rather just fast play, get the money in on the flop and go from there. So the money will go in actually, and my opponent very surprisingly shows up with ace 4-3-3, randomly decides to bet and stack off, and I do take down a very nice pot that is almost $600. This will be the biggest hand of the session, guys. The small blind is going to 3-bet me, makes it $23. And the big blind, somewhat surprisingly, overcalls. Now the big blind was definitely aggressive, loose throughout the session, so not that big of a surprise. I make it $92, very standard. I would never just call my aces at this point. Small blind gets it in, basically makes it $299, and now the big blind calls. The money goes in, and on the flop, a great thing happens. That is, the small blind gets everything in, and the big blind actually folds. The big blind gets pushed out of the pot after investing $300 pre-flop, which is a great result for myself, because now we're fighting heads up for the pot, right? And look at this beautiful run out, guys. I backdoor into the nut flush, and I take down a very big pot against the small blind, who was also sitting on aces there. So in the end, guys, I won $1,029 plus a little bit of rake back. So overall, a great experience, but of course it doesn't mean anything. It was just my first session, but I do look forward to the next one, and I'll keep you guys updated for what's going to happen. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.